Welcome back, sports fans across the globe, ladies, gentlemen, geeks of all ages. I am your host, the one and only Magic, alongside my man, Greg Burnham, who is proclaiming Let's Go Mavs. This is Fanalysis 101. We apologize. We ain't been able to connect. Yeah, I tried last week, but had a mysterious allergic. My face exploded, y'all.
Tell the
I don't.
truth. You ran up on Mike Tyson because you lost money in the Holyfield fight, and you wanted to get your money back.
I figured since Jake Paul quote unquote beat him, I might get my money. Nah.
Right.
Um, Iron Mike had to shake me down a little bit, but we are here with the same topics. So tonight, this episode, you're going to hear one thing that I think will be amazing, earth-shattering, world-changing. You see, all these people, including us, but a lot of people on these interwebs like to talk about players, and they like to talk down about players from certain areas. They like to use the word bums. They like to call them plumbers. They like to use all types of disrespectful words to talk about players,
Yeah.
but without ever establishing a baseline. So this episode, you are going to hear what makes a professional athlete an average player. That's going to be our main discussion today. You're also going to have our Better Now and Better Then segment where we take three players from a particular era and ask how they would be in the current era. Right now, that's still focused on basketball, but we're going to start throwing some baseball and football and other players in there too. But tonight we've got three more basketball players. It's going to be an Anglo-Saxon version. We got three white players we're going to talk about, all white this week, all Anglo-Saxon. Staying on the Anglo-Saxon train, we're going to talk about the best rookie ever in WNBA history and why she isn't getting the hype she deserves. And lastly, so far, statistically, so far, I know who you're thinking, and I would agree because she has the hardware, and that
Getting
year
on my
was
nerves right now.
that year was amazing. I'm just saying statistically, right now, this one's the best in that aspect. I disagree with that because CP had that crazy year, that crazy rookie year. But this one's on track to potentially have a comparable year. And we're also going to talk about Tom Brady's list that he put out of his opinion of NFL arm talent. So we are going to start off with Better Now and Better Then before jumping into our other topics. So Anglo-Saxon edition tonight starts with a player that I liked a lot. I don't think this guy gets anywhere near the love that he deserves. A mid-range beast, a cat that could fill up the cup. Dude had a year with Rookie of the Year votes, All-Star appearances, MVP votes. That is the one and only Kelly Tripuka. Now, for listeners who don't know about Kelly Tripuka, Kelly averaged 17.2 points per game, 3.8 boards, 3 assists, shooting 47% from the field, 36% from three.
What was the percentage from three again?
36%.
Yeah, thinking when that happened, when that was.
That is from 82 to 91.
Yeah, no, I heard you. I just wanted to make sure that that's clear. Like before people was shooting, threes like that, he was shooting at a pretty high clip. Like,
especially for that era. Yeah, it's a very high clip.
I mean, when I say that, high percentage.
Yeah, well, that's not so. Just on knowing his game. Let's take out 3 points percentage because that's so much of the focus on today's game. But just the rest of Kelly's game, how do you think that would translate playing in this current era?
Well, he's got that slim frame that everybody likes to have now. He would get in trouble for shooting the mid range. But I'm trying to think. I automatically start thinking of who I would compare him to.
That's a good question because Kelly's game was really a little unconventional.
Yeah, but he had like some ISO in him. Like,
he had a ton of ISO.
Give him the ball on the wing and move out the way.
Yeah,
he rock it out. He was a bad dude, man. I not necessarily the Pistons fan, but I liked him and Isaiah together.
Yeah,
that was when the Pistons was running and gunning and putting up a lot of points. People don't really know that. They think, they were always chain gang fights, but nah, like early on, they were getting up and down the court, getting buckets.
For all those who think that the Pistons were just, if you hear Pistons, you just think about the bad boys. You need to go back and watch the highest scoring game in NBA history. Detroit Pistons, Denver Nuggets, double overtime, 186 to 184, Detroit dub. Kelly Tripuka in that game dropped 30-something. Isaiah dropped like 40. John Long dropped like 30. I think Lambeer had like 20-something. Just buckets on, like nobody missed. It was like buckets on buckets on buckets. Crazy night.
Yeah. When you look at his stats, man, every year that he got like 15 shots per game, he was in the 20s. So 15 shots per game in this era is not a lot.
No.
For like, I don't think he would be like a number one guy, but he would definitely be in that, in between that 2 and 3 range on a really good team.
Yes.
Yeah, he just had a knack for scoring, man.
Absolutely. Great sense around the basket. Fantastic touch.
And I was just about to say.
Yes, just fantastic touch.
Crazy.
Touch was crazy. Really creative score, as even though he had the build that you described, he wasn't hyper athletic. So he was, I would say a great comparison was a player that he got sent to Utah for, in Adrian Danley. He was a little more in the air than AD, but similar in the craftiness in getting their buckets and the unconventional ways they had to maneuver their bodies, and then the touch they both had was just insane.
Yeah, I would say like AD was definitely like stronger, like physical, like
right. He was more. He was post compared to Kelly, big perimeter.
Yeah. But no, and Kelly had like that. You could drop it down to him in the post, and he hit you with that turnaround, like just a really crafty score. Like I'm still trying to figure. Okay, so don't get mad at me when I say this. Austin Reeves just finds a way to get the ball in the basket.
Okay.
Like I watch a lot of games. I'm not like athletically, I think Kelly was a better athlete than that. But I'm just saying, like,
no, I don't think that's an unfair comparison. I would esteem Kelly a little bit more, but only because Austin is so young in his career. But I don't think that's a bad comparison. I think that's pretty comparable.
Yeah, he just he was smart. He knew how to work angles. Yeah. Of course, Kelly was more of a 2-3, where Austin is more of like a 1-2.
Okay.
So
handle-wise, especially today.
Yeah. But as far as like, just like people don't, as a former Lakers fan, as of a couple months ago, people don't like, if you watch those games, man, a lot of those games, especially when AD was there, they was like going to Austin in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like ISO and LeBron just giving it to him, like, go. So Kelly definitely had like that kind of knack. But
I mean, the man was playing alongside Isaiah Thomas, and he only averaged under 20 one time, 1 year with him, and that was 19. Like he was getting them buckets.
Yeah.
And then if we add the 3-point in, so his percentage is good for the career, 36%. That is where I think that's above where LeBron is. A lot of modern players are shooting around that clip.
Obviously, that's an average 3-point shooter in today's game.
Correct. But this is a guy who did not shoot many attempts. He only averaged over 1 attempt 3 years out of his career. But his percentage was high multiple years. So he's got.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so his percentage is where it is because he has 2 years where the percentage isn't good. His rookie year, he shot 22%, and his which was coincidentally the 2 All-Star years. And his third year, his second All-Star year, he shot. We're going to round it up to 12% from 3. Now he shot 0.3. He averaged 0.3 attempts in the rookie year and 0.2 attempts that third year. However, the rest of the years, his second year, he shot 37.8%. His fourth year, he shot 40%. His fifth year, he shot 48%. His 48.
And the thing I try to get these whippersnappers to understand also is that like those threes aren't normal threes because you didn't take threes except for in like pressurized situations. Yep. Like if they kicked the ball to you and you were wide open and you was outside the 3-point line, you were taking a couple of dribbles to get a closer
shot.
So those threes are coming at the end of shot clocks, coming at the end of quarters, and at the end of games. And I think that's something. It's why like I get a lot of flack when I talk about how great of a shooter Larry Bird was. They automatically look at the percentages and the shots per game, and I'm like, nah, it was different. Like Bird was hitting threes, and we was like, oh, because
like we thought, and when we thought all he did was shoot threes because so many highlights were him hitting threes,
right? Because it was crazy. Remember, like I remember him like coming down on like the slow, like delayed break. Yeah, just pulling up and shooting.
Pull up from 3.
What are you doing?
we were all Paul George saying that's a bad shot. It went in though.
Right. And I mean, like people don't understand. So like there was guts, that you had to take. You had to have to take those shots. It's a different game, man. So, I see a clip of Kelly trying to roll up on Pistol Pete, Boston Celtics Pistol Pete.
Yeah, I was on Pistol.
Work.
And so after that dismal year of the low 3-point percentage, his third season, he never shot below 33% from 3 for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
So without those 2 low years, we're talking in the upper echelon levels of percentage.
Yeah.
Just without the volume. I would agree with you. I did not think of Lemon Daddy as a comparable player, but that's a great comparison. I think he fits that really well. I think Kelly would be an extremely serviceable player today.
Yeah.
I definitely think he would average. I think he would definitely put up more over 20 a game, and he was also an excellent free throw shooter, 85% from the line. Yeah. The way you get to the line nowadays, he's adding 6 more points to that average, just from the stripe. So yeah,
and he wasn't afraid to stick his head in there, and bang. So he definitely could seek out contact. And yeah, these free throw numbers I'm looking at are phenomenal.
Yeah, only 1 year just under 80%. Every other year is above 80%, and he shot 91% his final year in Charlotte.
After the first 3 years, he didn't go under 85%.
Correct.
That's nuts.
Yeah, my man was automatic from the line. All right, the next player in Better Then or Better Now. A player that, without injuries, I think would have had a better career in his time. He was a part of one of my favorite offenses in those Phoenix Suns four guard set with alongside KJ, Wes Person, J Kidd in the late 90s with the Phoenix Suns. A Kentucky product that goes by the name of Rex Chapman. Rex Chapman, aka the Boy Wonder, for those who don't know, had a career per game, 2.5 rebounds, 2.7 assists. Member of the 88-89 all rookie team.
Man, Rex was athletic. Like,
yes, dunk contest contestant.
Yeah, but like he did. So he did. Like we thought coming out of college, we thought he was gonna be like
the truth.
That next one.
Yeah,
he did kind of fit in between like a pattern and a non-pattern player. Which pattern play, like it's funny because you don't see like all these guys that would have been pattern players because they couldn't get their shot off against physical defense. Like now everybody's, working with the behind the back and the step backs and all that stuff. So like I think in this era, I think the only problem besides the injuries for Rex was like the physical defense. I think he wasn't able to like power through that. Now they don't have that. So you're looking at a problem. Like you're looking at a problem if you're not allowed to touch him and he can, play with the ball.
And he can get going. He can get his motor going. Once Rex got his motor going, it was a wrap. You were done for. He was lighting you up.
Yeah,
that man.
Yeah, we all know the Michael Jordan.
Oh, the infamous Jordan game in Miami.
And Mike. So yeah, I think that was the deterrent for him was he couldn't, like you put Joe Dumars or, like any of these physical guards on him and, you could kind of make him disappear. Can't play physical anymore. So I think he would be a problem like in this age.
Yeah.
I think there's somebody like Tyler Hero right off the bat, but more athletic.
Yeah.
More athletic.
Yeah.
As far as like attacking the rim and everything, but still could shoot it. That's a problem. I also see that Rex played 666 games in his career. Mm-hmm. I would have definitely sat out one or played an extra
at Mark of the Beast.
Right.
Yeah, it's the thing, and that's the biggest thing about Rex. Like if anyone looks at his stats, you can see the highest amount of games he played in his season was 75. His rookie year, he played 70. And then after that, the max he had, 68, 65. But he has a bunch of years where he's playing 50 games, 20 games, 38 games, 40-some games. The man was unfortunately often injured. And you're right. The physical guards were really able to cause Rex a lot of problems. But when he was able to get free, or he played against guards that relied more on their length and quickness, like a Jordan, compared to a Joe Dumars.
Like those guys that are going to get up in your body.
Yeah, the guys that are getting up under you. He was able to have more success. And when he got going, And this was a guy who was given a bit of a green light to shoot the three ball, especially later on in his career with Washington, Miami, and Phoenix. He was shooting, 6 a game, 5 a game, 4.5 a game. And hitting them, all above 30%. Career average of 35. His highest year shot 38% for Washington as a main part of that offense, averaging 18 a game.
And that's also that. I think that, that's his best year because he also shot 49% from the field, which is, he does have some low shooting. And that's another thing that I try to tell people in the 80s and the 90s, your shooting guards, like their field goal percentages weren't going to be that great because a lot of the time they're playing on the court with 2 7-footers, you know? So it's like the lane is clogged up. You got to do your work from the outside, you know? So yeah, I think in today's age, you got to take your hands, that forearm off of him. I think he does work because he really was a very athletic guy.
Yes. And you had to, and his a very underrated handle. You had to respect his handle because he could 2 dribbles to the rack and he's dunking on you. So if you had, and he got that shot out because you had to respect his drive, and then he was able to shoot. He was able to get that jumper off, and if he's playing an offense, then that's one of the reasons why I loved that Suns team at the time because they had those 4 guards and they were able to move the ball around the perimeter, and he was able to get so many open shots for that era. He's going to get even more of those wide open threes now. Like it's like he's definitely one of those players where I don't think he's a star. I think if he's probably healthier, he's probably has like a 2, maybe 3-time All-Star appearances over a 10, 12-year career, but he is definitely probably averaging 20 to 22 a game for his career playing in today's era compared to playing in the late 80s into the 90s.
Yeah. Another dude that just had a knack for getting buckets. Like, and I don't know, maybe because I was a kid and there was so much hype for him coming out of college, but he was definitely one of them dudes, like when he had the ball, you expected something cool to happen.
No, you did. You did. I still remember that shot he hit in the playoffs for Phoenix. That out of bounds play, caught the ball, turned, one step, turned onto to the left foot, shot the 1 foot 3, fading to the side. Like that's that's still one of the most amazing shots I've ever seen. And very few people could hit that as smoothly as Rex did.
Yeah, he had that like that 1-2 dribble, like pull up where he like actually elevated on his shot.
Yes.
Yeah,
because he had elevation, unlike a lot, unlike the vast majority of Anglo-Saxon guards at that time, or even now. That's not front. Most of them don't have that type of elevation. Rex had that elevation where, obviously not exactly because very people had Jordan or ups like Jordan or Clyde, but he was able to get that high elevation jump shot where other white guards did not have that. He had that in his bag, and Lord, if he was healthier, the damage he could have done.
Yeah, and so remember then because of not being able, maybe not having that that lateral quickness, you couldn't really play him at the point in the NBA. But today, I mean, and I don't want to like compare everybody to Austin Reeves, but a guy like Austin Reeves would have been strictly a 2 guard in the 80s. Yeah. But since you got to take your hands off and your forearm and all that good stuff, now you got a guy that can dribble freely. He definitely could have been like a combo kind of guard in today's age.
Absolutely, yes. All right, we agree on Rex Chapman. I love Rex. Rex, if you ever see this, shout out to you, man. We loved your career. Wish you could have been healthier. Somewhere in the multiverse, you didn't get hurt, and you were a freaking Hall of Famer.
And he was one of those guys too, man. Like those years when remember, and in the beginning, I feel like Charlotte was trying to kind of make him the man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He was, yeah.
And then after that, it was like it kind of, they kind of, teams started scaling back on him a little bit because I don't think he was ready in the beginning from the physical standpoint. Right. But then you watch his career, like I remember when he got to Washington and he started getting buckets and playing well again. You were like happy for him.
Oh, yeah.
Because he seemed like a good dude, man.
He had great charisma. He was, and when he was on, he was must-see TV. He was something to watch. Like he was what the league wanted, and at a new franchise like Charlotte, because in college, you had to watch this guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, he's a great player. Last on this list, most people today know him as an executive, a pretty successful executive. This guy was a 2-time All-Star, one of the more unique names in NBA history, and that is the one and only Ernest Maurice, better known as Kiki Vandeweghe.
Oh my God.
Kiki, yes, Ernest Maurice Vandeweghe III, better known as Kiki. If you don't know about the boy Kiki, let me tell you about this Anglo-Saxon man here. We're going to call it 20 points a game, 19.7. We're going to call it 20 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 52.5% from the field, 36.8% from three, 87% from the line.
Kiki, and trust me now, Magic picked these out. He didn't discuss it with me, so
I did. Yeah,
we picked it out.
Yes,
Kiki
I picked.
was my favorite white boy of the 80s.
He's a bad boy.
I used to pretend that Kiki was black because I used to be Kiki running up and down the hallway. So I would put like hangers. I would get tape and then get a chair, whatever, and put hangers above the doors, and I would run up and down the hallway playing ball. And I'd be like Doc on one side and Kiki on the other. Kiki was a monster.
Yes.
Got buckets, like buckets on buckets. And pretty freaking efficient for his, like, for him to, do a lot of his work on the perimeter. I'm looking at these field goal percentages, 55, 56.
Yeah.
That's craziness for that time. I can't say I was, a kid for most of this. So I don't remember his defensive prowess.
Oh, Kiki wasn't playing defense.
But they don't play defense today anyway.
Exactly.
Kiki is like, I'm serious. If you put him on a team today and you invest in him, like, that's a dude that could get like 28 a game in this era.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
oh, my.
Buckets. Like, he just, like, we talk about Kelly Tripuka having a neck. So Kiki was like Kelly Tripuka with a
×2
kind of athleticism.
Yeah.
Like, he was bouncy. He had that broad chest. He felt that he was, jumping into people. Kiki was a problem. You look at some of these numbers.
The Denver important years are just insane.
Yeah.
Like, if his back, people don't. So if you are listening to this and you decide to pull up Kiki's basketball reference page, you'll see a massive drop off from 87 to 88 to 80, 89. And that's because he had his back like exploded. He had a back injury, and that completely changed him as a player. And he was never the same again. But pre-back injury, Kiki Vandeweghe was a problem.
You were in trouble. Like, go down the list, high field goal percentage. I don't have a doubt, like, the way that he could shoot, and you like his 3-point numbers were very solid. Again, very similar to Kelly Tripuka. He didn't take a lot of them, and trust me, children, if you're listening, like, those are pressurized threes. Those aren't, I'm just standing wide open taking threes. Like, Kiki was like, what was it? Didn't he drop like 55 on somebody?
Yeah.
He was a problem. He putting out, and I will
career high points 51.
Okay, there you go. And I will balance this out by saying, those years in Denver, they were very much run and gun. Still 29 a game is 29 a game.
Yeah.
27 a game is 27 a game.
And to get those, now you mentioned the running gun. He was part of that Doug Moe fast break system in Denver. And yes, he was playing with other great players, but you don't understand how hard it is to put up those type of numbers efficiently when you got to give the ball to Alex English too.
Right. That, like,
and Mike Adams, and end of his career, Dan Issel. Like, you got to understand who you're playing with.
Right. You're playing with one of the, and for me, one of the greatest, bucket getters that ever played with Alex English.
The greatest bucket getter of the 80s. Nobody scored more points in the 80s than Alex English.
Right. And again, like, this is why I laugh when these people say these dudes couldn't shoot. What's always your telltale sign of a good shooter is what they do at the free throw line. That's always for me. Look at those free throw line numbers.
Insane.
Like, incredible.
91%, 88.6, 87.8, 89.9. Like, even after the injury, can still hit the free throws. Heck, after the injury, when he's with the Knicks, shot 52% from three.
Yeah.
52.6% from three.
It's ignorant. And it's funny, my brother and I, we were talking about it today, that, like, we got all these athletic guys in the league right now, but a lot of them, their athleticism doesn't translate to their actual game.
Yeah.
So I remember when Anthony Simons, when he entered the dunk contest, and I was like, I mean, watching these Portland games, and I see him, and he can shoot it. I'm looking at him like, you are on some Klay Thompson type, like, trajectory. And then he goes out there, and he's head on the rim, doing all kinds of wild stuff. I'm like, how? I don't see that when you play.
Right.
Kiki was flaunting his athleticism.
Sure.
Like, another guy, like, to me, I feel confident that he's the best of the three that we named today. He was on some, like, Bernard King light type stuff, man.
Bernard King West. Yeah, Bernard was West Coast Bernard King. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He was getting it, man. And it's like, you could watch the highlights, man. These guys, I don't know, because we were actually playing. So we were playing competitive basketball in the 80s, and we know what type of athleticism was on the court with us, and so it's like when they look at it and they're like, these dudes ain't athletic, and I'm like, I don't understand why y'all think they're not athletic. These were like the best athletes of their time.
It's part of it is just what they recognize as athletic. They discount the fact that everybody's not emulating Michael Jordan like people are now and trying to do these particular moves that are quote unquote considered more athletic than what was done then. And when you have players who are collectively generally playing within systems that the coach set and not off doing ISO ball and doing their own thing, you're going to appear to be less athletic because you're playing within a framework. And not doing things that's going to take you out of that framework, and you're controlling your body compared to what 4 out and pretty much watching people play one-on-one and a bunch of ISO ball.
And another thing, like the camera angles that are used today.
Oh my God, so much better.
Yeah, and it definitely helps you see. You're closer. You can kind of see. Like, I always tell people, like, if you don't go to NBA games, then you won't even. And, like, you got to sit close, because if you're up high, it looks like one thing. But if you're up, like, close, you'll see stuff that, like, you can't imagine. Like, nobody, unless you've been close to LeBron James, nobody understands how big that man is.
Oh my God, he's so big.
Like, he's bigger than anything. Nobody understands. I stood next to Shaq before. Nobody understands. I'm talking about college Shaq. Lean. You know what I'm saying?
Lean and muscular then too.
Right. It's like you get scared when he comes in the room. Not that he's, it's just like these dudes were great athletes. And truthfully, back then, if you were white, you had to be an exceptional athlete to be on the court, or you was going to get drugged. Mark Price was fast and quick as hell. He's the
Mm-hmm.
first dude I remember that was like splitting double team.
Yeah, he was.
You know
He
what I'm
was. He
saying?
was. He was the guy that pretty much made that a thing. Split the
Right.
double team.
Jeff Hornacek used to get up like off the floor. I'm like, y'all don't understand.
Phoenix Hornacek.
Bruh, he was a problem too. We need to do him one day. But yeah,
We'll do Horny one day.
but
But no, no, you're 100% right. And that's part of the thing is, coaches are now a secondary thought. They're not setting the culture. They're not setting the system like they once did. So and then the technology. That's another fantastic point. I mean, we're talking about broadcast NBA broadcasts from NBC that had two hard cameras and two cameras along baselines. When now there's 15 cameras, there's over the top, there's on the floor looking up. You've got so many different camera angles and so different cameramen capturing what's going on that it's going to look so much better in certain ways than it did before, because you have this benefit of better technology, better lighting. I mean, you still had smoky arenas in the 80s. You had that blue haze in pictures because people were still smoking in the arenas and stuff.
right.
like people don't. A lot of these young people don't understand what life was like then. And then and yes, some of these players can be more athletic or in certain ways because they have the benefit of training staffs that most teams didn't have. The nutrition that's available now. There's so many extra things that can help them. Where before, guys were eating steak and potatoes because that was just what a normal man eats. They weren't having these. That's what a man ate. You ate steak and potatoes. For dinner. But but these guys now, and people forget another thing is the money. The money that players get today enables them to be more limber, more conditioned athletes. Because until the late 80s,
you're a one, like 365 days of the year, you're a professional athlete now.
Yes. And you don't have to go to camps and do camps to make extra money, because until the late 80s, nobody was making $1 million.
Right.
Not until the late 80s, where Moses, Magic, and Bird were the only three players in the league making $1 million. And then, Isaiah jumped in there and and stuff. But no one was making that money in the late 80s. Nobody.
It was just a whole different time. And I still say, with all the technology, I have my ideas why these guys are getting hurt way more now. And some of it has to do with the faster pace of play and you're being forced to guard all over the court now. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it's like I could run from, if I was a big man, I'm basically running from block to block. I don't have to go, trying to contest threes in the corner.
Right. But they're not the ones blowing their Achilles, really. It's the perimeter guys that are.
Yeah. But my whole point of it is, when you look at it, I do take that into account. I'm not one of those guys that's like, today sucks and yesterday was great.
Right.
I think today kind of sucks in some ways, but I also can go back. I remember I was watching 87 finals, the Lakers and the Celtics, and I'm like, these dudes is playing in a phone booth, man. I can see why, if you're looking at today's game and you think that's the standard, you go back and look at this, there's 4 7-footers on the floor.
Right.
There are 2 6'10" guys on the floor. There's 2 6'8" guys on the floor. There's no room to do anything.
Yeah.
And then they're playing inside out.
And you're playing inside out. Yep.
Yeah. So I get why, if you look, why people, if you weren't there, we understand that was the plot. The whole plot was to attack
the rim.
Attack the rim, get closer shots, which means better shots, which means more foul shot attempts, and kick out, so you play inside out. So we get that. But I'm just saying, for that, I also think that back then guys weren't, their contracts weren't so incentive driven. Like if you make first team, then
Right.
you're going to be able to be available for the Supermax. So those guys, like when you're winning the game, you like if you're blowing somebody out, Larry Bird's going to sit down. Larry Bird could have 50 in 3/4, and I'm going to sit down. Magic could have 20 assists, and by the half, it might not play no more.
Right.
They weren't chasing the stats, and I don't blame the guys today because if
No,
you tell me,
their money's tied to that. Yeah, you
telling
get
me
your money, y'all.
right. So it's just different eras, but I love these conversations.
Yes. Well, appreciate it. And those, thank you for enjoying this better.
Kiki was a beast, y'all.
Kiki was a Kiki. Y'all that did not see Kiki Vandeweghe play, I'm sorry, y'all missed out. If all you know Kiki as an executive, I feel bad for y'all because he was a bad man.
In fact, Kiki was the kind of player that I never would have expected to be like turn into like a front office guy because he was a dog.
Facts. Absolutely. All right, we are going to transition to our pre-topic, and that is defining average player. It's become such a ridiculous thing to just have so much negativity around, players from different eras, and like Greg said, we loved the era we grew up in. We love this current era. We love the game. So we're not trying to be here trashing eras. We want to appreciate players from all eras. And so we need to establish so that people, at least on this show, we have reasonable discussions. We're going to establish the baseline of what makes an average player an average player. Using the major sports, basketball, football, baseball, what makes a player average?
That's so interesting. So like right off, like I guess because like the more you start knowing dudes that are playing, like we got kids that have gone on to play in the NBA, NFL, like all that stuff. Not my biological kids, but kids from our programs and all that. The more you get to see. So let's take, and I'm not saying Jaylen Brown. I would never say he's average, right?
Definitely
but when
not.
he go, no, Jaylen, played at our park as a little kid. North DeKalb Chargers, what's up? And he was like bigger, he was faster, he was strong. I remember not seeing him for a while, and then they were like saying his name in high school, and so I'm like, let me go check out Lil Jaylen. Lil Jaylen is not Lil Jaylen anymore. What you see from LeBron James in the NBA, that was Jaylen in high school. Bigger, strong, athletic, just dominant, like just ridiculously dominant. And then he goes, and I'm going somewhere with this, so just give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes, he goes to college for the year. He goes to the Celtics. I don't feel like the Celtics really wanted him. And then I'm trying not to call people names. Brad, whatchamacallit?
Brad, like, yes, Brad
Stevens, yeah.
Brad Stevens, yes.
He in his mind, he evaluated Jaylen as like a 3-and-D guy.
Yes.
And so that's what he tried to do, is push Jaylen to a 3-and-D guy. And like from day one, and I'm a Lake. I used to be a Lakers fan. So, so I hate the Celtics already, but now you got somebody that I got to root for because I've been watching him since he was 6, and you're muting his game. Right. And so Jaylen had to make a choice. I can either really, really bust my butt and work hard to be this 3-and-D guy, which would probably push me out to be an average player. But the heart of a lion is different. It says, yeah, I'm going to do this stuff you want me to do so I can get playing time. but I'm going to keep working on my game. I am a star, and I'm going to prove that to you. And so that, to me, a lot of times, because all these dudes, besides like John Concac, like all these dudes that that's another story. This man was getting paid more than Michael Jordan.
Oh my God.
But, most of these dudes that are playing professional sports are phenomenal at the game.
Yes.
The mental side is what makes stars.
Yes.
What makes stars versus what makes average players, below average players. I've personally talked to guys that should be in the Hall of Fame. One guy, I'll say, I just don't like cheering, but this dude easily should have been a Hall of Fame NBA basketball player. But the politics and all the behind the scenes junk that he was going through, it just got him to a point where he didn't love the game anymore. So it's like, I'm just going through the motions to get my check. Like those guys that don't get broken, that are like, I'm running through these walls. Kobe Bryant, like, you're not playing me. I'm killing everybody in practice, but you're not playing me. You think I'm supposed to be just a guy. I think I'm the guy. So I'm not going to accept not, So to me, a lot of it's mental, man.
Well,
it really is. Uh-oh. Somebody getting in trouble.
No, didn't know we were recording. It's all good.
Hey, y'all, I just want to say, because I forgot that this Kiki Vandeweghe highlights was rolling. He got long highlight.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, he's at like 15 minutes or something like that. It's like, it's insanely long. Yeah. It's tough to define an average player because to me, an average player in any sport on any level. So like right now, if someone asked me, hey, are you an average player? I would say, for my age, my height, and from where my peak was, no, I'm not an average player. I'm a below average player. I'm overweight, which impacts my ability to jump, impacts my timing. So I can still get some buckets for you. I can play some defense in short spurts, but no, I'm not an average player for my age and height. Now, if I drop 100-something pounds, I can maybe get back to that, but I'm not that right now. So to me, an average player is somebody who is a player, is someone who's a good player. They're not great. They can have flashes of greatness, but they are good for their level and sustainable over at least like a decade's worth of time, where it's like, I'm not worried about this guy dropping 30 on my team, but I do have to respect the 14 that he's going to give me on every night. I have to respect that he's going to play good defense, or I have to respect that this wide receiver, he's not going to get 100 yards and 3 touchdowns every game, but he's going to have, 87 important yards on 2 or 3 catches. And that's going to be a big impact for this team. Yes, this running back doesn't average 100 yards a game, but it's a tough 85, and he keeps getting those first downs on 3rd and 2.
He's reliable.
He's reliable.
Fumble the ball.
Exactly.
He blocks.
He blocks. He does the little things.
Yeah.
So when I thought about this topic, I wanted to look and examine particular players I thought exemplified being really great average players. So, the first one that I came up with is, for an example, from the NBA, and that to me is Kerry Kittles. I think Kerry Kittles is an excellent example of an average player. You had to respect him. Average double-digit points for his career, no threat, not a superstar. You're not worried about this guy going off and scoring 40, 30, 40, 50 on you. Played good defense, wasn't great defensively, wasn't poor defensively. Solid, average, dependable player that you could count on and was an important part of the team.
And also like I had to throw in like high IQ.
Yes.
The kind of guy that was always going to be where he's supposed to be.
Yes. To me, he's a great example of an average NBA player. Because to me, you have in any level of sports, you have average, you have your above averages or very good. I will say I'd say very good in comparing because I think above average doesn't sound high enough. So I think average, very goods, greats, and then you have your below averages, which aren't that bad, but they're below average. It's what they are. And then you have your guys who are just bottom of the barrel guys. It's like I wonder why.
John Concac.
I got one worse than John Concac. My bottom of the barrel.
Dwayne
my
Shinsis?
Example. No, worse than Dwayne Shinsis. Worse than him. Bottom of the barrel. To me, NBA example. New Jersey Nets center Yinka Dare.
Ooh. Yeah.
Tell me that's not bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, that's pretty tough, man. Like
Yinka was terrible.
I'm trying to think that he had many redeeming qualities.
I remember it took him years to record his first assist. Like they made a big deal out of it. Like it took like 5 years for Yinka Dare to have an assist. Like, bro.
Well, he only played 4 years.
It was years. It was seasons, multiple seasons before Yinka had an assist. He was terrible.
His first 2 years, he averaged 0.0 assists a game. 0.05 steals. Yeah, that was tough, man. Now to be fair, he didn't get a lot of playing time, but that's also because he was bad.
Because he was terrible.
He was bad. Yeah. Sometimes you can't blame guys. They're not the ones that drafted themselves.
I mean, look. I mean, remember, he was 7 foot tall. You have a 7-footer that looks like he has potential. You're gonna take a chance on drafting. That guy.
But also remember, to be fair to terrible guys, because another guy comes to mind for me, which is Tate George. He hit that big shot in the tournament, and it got him drafted. Like the scouting systems were way different. Whippersnappers. Back then, you have a big game in college at the right time, you getting drafted. Like
yes, because we knew there were certain players who could just play without being the great athletes. So so you make a great point. Another player I think of immediately who had a good tournament run and I got him drafted, Tyus Edney.
Oh yeah. Tyus was a little bit better than terrible.
He wasn't that good. He wasn't terrible. He just wasn't that good.
No.
And if he did run at UCLA, he don't get drafted.
Man, that wasn't no run. That was that shot. Him driving
that drive. But he played well through the tournament. But yeah, if he doesn't make that shot and get that status boost, he doesn't get drafted by the Kings, I think it was.
But I will say, like, if you look at this, and the field goal percentage is pretty low. But, his rookie year, he averaged 10.8 points and 6.1 assists.
Yes, but he was on that terrible Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, terrible team. He got to start 60 games. He played almost the whole season. First contract was out. It was over.
And you knew when you used a draft pick, when you get a guy like that, and especially he's a California guy, so it's like you got to give him a shot. They gave him a shot, and that team was so bad. Poor Mitch, wallowing so many years in sack.
Sent my dog to the Kings. That was terrible. Terrible. We didn't get to see any goals. We just him scoring a whole bunch of buckets and giving your favorite players problems on SportsCenter. Yeah. Okay, so back on topic.
So Kerry Kittles to me exemplifies the example of an NBA player as average. Now it gets
and when
different.
We say average, we're not saying
and average
in a bad
yes,
way.
it's
You're a
no,
solid player.
Yes, and that's the thing. The thing is, so many people want to spout average to have this negative connotation. Average is not a negative connotation. You don't want to be below average, but if you are average at something, that's not bad. It means you're quote unquote normal. You're at the median. So you're at the median for the highest level of something. When we're talking about professional sports, you are still amongst the greatest players in the world. You're just average amongst that upper echelon group. And that's what people need to really have the respect for, because you're not talking about an average high school player or an average college player. You're talking about an average of the best of the best of the best.
Exactly. Spit it, man. You spitting right now.
Hey, it's what I do. Let me cook. Now, it's tougher to do this on the pro football level because of how different your positions work. And because
then opportunity is
and opportunities. But I think I think the overall idea holds true. So I was going through average and NFL players. I'm like, who would I consider to be an average NFL player that had some sustainability? You weren't scared of them really being a threat, but you knew this guy, would get his job done. But you weren't scared of the guy. He wasn't, he didn't have that star quality, and it's tough. So I was looking around and I'm like, well, what positions are the ones that really show that? I was weird. So the skill positions make it so hard because either generally you're pretty freaking good or you're just, not that good. So I started looking at, to me, the best way to look at it would be to look at wide receiver twos, because those are guys that really are they're good, but they're kind of average. They're consistent because they start and they get production, but they're not the threat. No one's worried about these guys threat-wise. They're not the focus. They're not the focal point, generally. You know what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? Yeah. Now, and unless you're on like a team that's loaded, like what the Vikings have Moss and Carter. Clearly, Carter as a wide receiver two Chris Carter is not an average player.
Nobody like on that team. There was 2 ones.
Exactly.
Chris was like very productive.
Yeah.
And very scared.
Yeah, exactly. So I looked at wide receiver two thinking that's the best position. I'm going to find somebody that could exemplify as an example. So I was looking at wide receiver twos, and I think the best example I could come up with was Mr. John Taylor from the San Francisco 49ers.
So, I was a 49er fan for
Niners are my second favorite team.
Till they got racist on me, I had to,
Yeah, I know. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. But John Taylor to me exemplifies that. Good receiver, dependable receiver. Now his numbers, some people will say, oh, his numbers are really, really good. Part of his numbers being really good is because he was outside on the other side of Jerry Rice and getting the ball thrown to him by Joe Montana. So he had exceptional people with him, but he wasn't an exceptional talent. In my opinion, my opinion, I don't think John Taylor was an exceptional talent. I think he maximized his talent exceptionally, but I don't consider him to be an exceptional talent. That's just me. You can be free to disagree. You be free to disagree. I kind of want you to disagree. I want you to.
Well, yeah. John was like, now.
And again, it's hard. It's hard to come up with a really good example because of how varied football is. So I'm not even saying that this is the greatest example. He was just the best example I could come up with.
So I look at it. So there's a difference between like phenomenal talent and phenomenal player. Like John was a burner. He used to take the top off the defense, which made it to where you had to somewhat try to play Jerry Rice, honestly. So similar like Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper. We know who the star was, but Alvin Harper was running.
No, he was a 1B. Like he wasn't like a number 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but again, so like just looking at John's numbers, these numbers aren't gonna blow you out the water. Like he had 2 1,000-yard seasons. But for a guy like him, I'm not necessarily looking at, like, I know he's not your number 1, not even your number 2 target, because for some of those years, Roger Craig was, and then they had Brent Jones, like, so the ball was being spread around. The only person that was eaten was was Jerry.
Yes.
And honestly, Jerry ate more with Steve Young than he did with Joe.
Yeah. It was still a run first.
But era
too.
And run, and Bill Walsh said it several times. They played through Roger Craig, who should be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
I don't know why these people are playing. But again, so we can look at the numbers and we can say, he didn't have like a phenomenal, and so I can say, okay, I'm good with him being an average player, but he did have like a certain skill set that, you really wanted to have alongside the greatest receiver and possibly the greatest football player to ever lace him up.
That's just it. The greatest player to ever lace him up. That's just, that's it. Yeah. Jerry Rice. Yeah.
So we can say that because average doesn't mean bad. It means solid.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, if John was like, if he would have got put in the number 1 slot, what are we expecting from him?
Exactly. And I struggle to imagine. Sometimes you can see a number 2 and say, if he was number 1 somewhere else, he could probably do more, like an Alvin Harper as the example. I just watching John, I did not see that number 1 potential in him, as we've seen with some other guys.
I'm looking at the catch percentages, and that's like for John, and that's telling a little bit. But I need to stack that up. I never really focus on catch percentages for people. So, but that's a solid one. I just think football is
it's tough, man.
Dicey because opportunity is so much of it, man. Like, what is Tom Brady if Drew Bledsoe doesn't get injured? Of course we want to be able to say, well, no, we're sure that he, would be this great, but
I think his greatness as a player would have stayed the same. The success would have been less because they would have held on to Drew a season or 2 longer before giving the reins to Brady. We would have seen a delayed level of success, and who knows how many Super Bowls he would have won. He definitely would have been a successful player. But if they hold on to Bledsoe longer, they may have given up on other players when they moved on. Some guys that that old crew back then, the Willie McGinnis, the Teddy Bruschi's, the Vrabels, and those guys from that time frame, they may not. The Richard Seymours, they may have moved on before Brady got popping. If Drew Bledsoe was there another year or 2, they may have moved on, and now who knows what the team looks like. Brady probably would have played and put up great numbers, but the team's success wouldn't be there. And are we calling him the GOAT? Are we calling him GOAT without it? Probably not.
Anyway, but I understand why people call him GOAT. I don't call him GOAT. But that's my personal thing. It's just, I think that he grew up idolizing the GOAT, and but
it's tough, man. It's tough for me because I love Joe, and he was in a run first era, and he did a lot of magic. But that's 7 Super Bowls, and some of those wins, man.
Some of those wins aren't wins if Atlanta just runs the ball one more time and then
but you got to be able to orchestrate. But to orchestrate, there's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of ifs.
A 2-yard slant.
It's a lot of it's a
mean,
lot of ifs. I get it.
If the tuck rule didn't exist, this is how I do it. We're going off topic, but look at the what is that, 84 Super Bowl, 49ers versus the Dolphins.
Yes.
And then tell me that Tom Brady could do that. And he can't. He couldn't. He wouldn't lead both teams in rushing. He wouldn't do so much work outside of the pocket because protections was breaking down.
Not his game. Yeah. Didn't have the legs
for that. And then on the other side of it, show me what Brady did that Joe couldn't do. Joe is doing this in a pro style, 2 wide receivers, tight end, running back, fullback. Brady putting up numbers with 5 wides.
Oh, no. Like the numbers, I don't even really look at the numbers because
the numbers lead to the success, though.
Not necessarily to me. For me, it's about for me with the quarterback. It's so much less about numbers. It's about leading that team, galvanizing that team, and getting W's. I don't care if the quarterback throws 50 yards. If he moves that offense down the field, he's the one leading. He's looking at the defense. He's audibling. He's moving that team down the field. That's what matters most.
Yeah, that's what Joe is.
Yeah, that's what Joe's doing. I've seen Brady do that a lot.
No,
now my thing with Brady is when people that talk about the numbers, I don't weigh the numbers that heavily because, again, he played a lot of his career, the vast majority of it, in a pass-first era where Joe played his entire career in a run-first era. And Brady got to throw the ball.
Protected.
And quarterbacks were not protected the way they are now. Absolutely. So, like, to me, that is not the thing. To me is when you have this guy and he has the ball and there's 2 minutes left and you're not up 14, you're only up 3 or 6, 5. How much trouble are you in? And if Brady's got that ball and you're not up by a lot, you're in trouble. And he worked.
We're talking about Joe Montana, though. That's what he did.
I know.
I know. For 3 quarters.
I know.
And then go destroy you in the fourth. Man,
that's why it's so hard, because they both have such amazing clutch intangibles, seeing things, making things happen, hitting receivers, and that no one says their names outside of those guys because they're not. Okay, and that was the other guy that I was going to say as an option. Troy Brown. Troy Brown was going to be my other person that I could say as an average NFL player.
I think he was better than average.
So
for the offense that they had him in, like running those interior routes and stuff. I look at that.
I'm just
handy dandy.
I love it. But Troy would do anything to play, do anything to win. I mean, they were decimated at receiver that one. He had to play number 1. He got a bunch of yards. Then they had decimated at freaking corner, so they put him and had him play corner. Like, the guy did whatever it took for him to win. He was exceptional at everything, but he was a good football player.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
I just think that little dude wasn't. I guess part of it is the overachieving. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he overachieved.
Nobody was expecting for him to be that dude, and he was giving problems. But when you go through and you look at it, like he had a 3-year run of craziness. 83 catches, 101 catches, 97 catches. And other than that, yeah.
That's why I say average. Yeah, exactly. Another tough one is to look at baseball. Because baseball is so freaking tricky. Because you really have to separate pitchers from fielders. And you kind of have to separate catchers as well because their position is so unique also.
Right.
So,
and then, I mean, like fielding versus hitting, so I think like one of my favorite players of all time, he hit like decent average wise, but he was getting like 1 home run a year, Ozzie Smith, but
not a power hitter, but
absolute.
good contact hitter.
I mean, he made himself into a good contact hitter.
Yeah.
But the one thing that you could count on is the best glove you
Oh,
ever
yeah.
see.
Never going to find a better defensive shortstop than Ozzie Smith. Never.
And it's one of the things I like about baseball and I hate about like the NBA, because so much of it gets based on popularity. Like Mark Jackson is sixth today. He's sixth
in
all time
assists.
in assists.
And he was number 3 when he retired. 2 or 3 when he retired.
2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he passed. Did he pass? I think he passed Magic. I can't. I'll look that up.
Yeah, he was 2 or 3 when he retired. It was insanely high.
Yeah, and so you're looking at that and you're saying one of the guys who was the best at doing a particular skill, and he wasn't bad in other areas. He wasn't the greatest defender, but one of the best passers and floor generals we ever seen. Nobody ever talks about him for the Hall of Fame. But like Ozzie Smith, it's like it's not even a question. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Ozzie, yeah, definitely popularity. Ozzie, he was the wizard. He had flair, come out and do that backflip coming onto the field. I hate the Cardinals, but I loved me some Ozzie Smith, man. Like there's Cardinal players I've loved, Bob Gibson, but man, I love me some Ozzie Smith. He was you couldn't hate Ozzie. He was a magical dude, man. He had, and that was one thing about Ozzie's greatness, and that's like, he was such a great player. You didn't care that he wasn't a hitter. You did not care that he wasn't driving in runs, and I mean traditionally shortstops at that time weren't great run producers. That became a thing later on. But you were cool with him because he did his thing and he was such a vacuum defensively. He was a genius defensively. It didn't matter. I try to think of average baseball players. And because hitting is so hard to do and pitching is so intricate, and pitching now is so different than pitching then. No one's doing complete games. You're never going to see another 300 game winner. Like it's such a different thing. Catching is such an endurance on the body. Like you're trying to come up with an example, especially for modern day baseball, was so hard. I was like, I don't even like who do I pick? So I think an average baseball player, if I'm looking at the closest thing you can have, which would just be like a utility player, a guy that can, one of those guys that can play, outfield and play 1 or 2, infield positions, like a utility guy who can just get moved kind of anywhere. He can play first and third and he can play left and right. He doesn't have the range or speed for center, I think of the particular Detroit Tiger, and not just because I'm a Tigers fan, but this guy, I watched him be a utility guy that was solid and consistent for many years. Played catcher, played third base, played first base, and he was a solid contributor, but clearly never a star player. And that was Brandon Inge, a reliable guy. You could plug him in multiple positions. You were going to get hard work. You were going to get, grit out of the guy. He was a great teammate, and but you weren't scared of him, coming to bat at the end of the game. He wasn't that type of clutch guy, but the guy's probably going to hit 250. He's going to hit, above average or average for a player, and he's gonna produce, but he's not he's not the guy you fear coming to the plate at the bottom of the ninth with a full count. You know what I'm saying? He's not producing that type of magic. So Yeah, I think a player like him. I'm trying to think of the problem with average players in baseball is that most of us don't know their names. If you're an
Right.
average baseball fan, you don't know the name of an average player unless you have a particular team that you're a fan of, and then maybe you know their average
Yeah,
players.
yeah.
So a guy like for Philly fans, like a guy like a Shane Victorino, that's an
Yeah.
average player. You know, oh my god, like maybe I think his guy was slightly above average, but just an example for Braves fans, like a Terry Pendleton. You know, he wasn't the guy. Again, I said he's more like above average. But it's a tough. That Braves team was so loaded. It's tough to point
Terry
and
was
say
Terry was kind of the leader.
it's tough to look at that team and say, someone's like they had so much on that team. That team was
Yeah.
stacked.
And
I couldn't say Andrew Jones, man. I couldn't say
Andrew
Fred.
Jones
That was
is
a beast.
honestly he's my favorite center fielder, like defensive center fielder. I never seen anything like it. When I came to Atlanta, I would go to those games and when they were like you got Glavin, man, these are beautiful days. And I had like a 60% chance I was gonna see Glavin,
Glav and Maddox.
and them dudes used to play. They wasn't missing games and stuff.
That's right.
And but watching him like as a dude that uh played sorry, as a dude that played baseball, that was my first favorite sport, and learning to feel being okay for my age,
Yeah.
defensively and stuff. Watching like the brilliance of how he played, like his ability to track balls like from like off the bat.
Off the bat,
You
yeah.
rarely saw him like struggling and like busting his butt to get anywhere because he was already there. I remember he used to catch the ball low on
Yep.
purpose, and they thought he would, because we were always taught catch it at the
Catch it
high
high.
point.
Yep.
And so, they're like saying, they were trying to make it sound like he was a slacker or a showboat. And he's like, no, I'm catching it here because my hand is here.
Yep, so you can pull it out of the
it's
glove.
a quicker transfer,
Yeah.
You talk about genius, like Ozzy, like Andrew was that dude, and he should be in the Hall of Fame too.
Yeah, unfortunately, those hitting numbers, they're really
those hitting numbers are not
really
bad. They're not.
I mean, they're not terrible. They're not terrible, but that's what they keep harping on.
Andrew.
That's what they keep harping on. And you know what? I just thought of the Atlanta Braves that I think is a great example for an average player. And this is a player that people know his name because he was excellent in another sport. Deion Sanders, average baseball player.
So Deion,
he was average.
Bo, I can't. The only reason I can't put that on them is because, he was a part-time player, and
you can't. He was just average. Like Bo was great at baseball and football. Deion was a great football player who was an average pro baseball player.
Deion wasn't a power hitter, but he was a problem. He was a difference maker.
He was the biggest thing for him was his speed. He could fly on the bases, but defensively, he wasn't that good. He wasn't that great defensively.
He didn't have the strongest arm, but
he wasn't that great.
Covering ground.
I didn't say he didn't cover ground. He had some issues tracking the ball. He didn't have the greatest arm strength. He wasn't that great defensively.
We are not doing this with
his best years were at Atlanta, but them years with the Yankees, he wasn't that good. I'm sorry. He was an average baseball player.
I just I think, and this is just me, because like Bo, I love Bo. Kansas City.
Bo's that dude, man. Come on.
I love Bo, but people kind of inflate like his production. He didn't hit for average.
He's a power hitter. He struck out a lot.
But I also say, if Bo would have said, I'm only gonna play baseball, you possibly could be looking at one of the greatest baseball players that ever lived. I just think that it's such a difficult game. It's so much like stuff is based off of rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
It's based off of, so it's like is to say that these dudes were part-time players and still, decently productive. I'm looking here. Let's see. Who am I looking at? Deion Sanders. He didn't hit a lot of home runs.
He didn't hit a lot, period. He was average, man. I love Deion. I love Deion, but he was an average baseball player.
So when you look at it, he never had 100 at-bats in a season. He was going back and forth with football.
Correct.
He's got he hit 280 his rookie year, but didn't play for 14 games. He hit I think that these guys were so talented. I think Deion is such a talented athlete that if he would have played full time, I think he could have been.
No, Deion himself said if he would have, he could have hit the curveball. He couldn't hit the curveball, but if he was a better baseball player, he would have spent more time in baseball. Because you can have a longer career. At that time, you definitely can make more money than in the NFL. He would have done baseball more. Baseball players at that time were more popular. You could get a whole much more face time. And as Deion, the character that Deion is, the face time you get as a baseball star, especially during then, especially then.
Yeah, when they were actually promoting.
When they were promoting us, they're promoting Strawberry, promoting Griffey, promoting Bo, promoting Frank Thomas. He could have been a mega star if he was on that level as a baseball player. But the crux to that is you're the best to ever do what you did in football, to play your position, which is why he stayed with football over baseball.
I really so his lifetime average 263. That's not horrible. He didn't play a lot of.
It's average.
It's average, but I don't put. I guess I can't put Deion in that conversation because we didn't get enough of a sample size of him.
You don't think we got enough as a sample size? Come on, yes, he didn't play a full baseball seasons. They play so many freaking games. It's insane how many games they freaking play.
Man, okay. Let's put up some numbers here. Why is this doing this? Why is my phone acting funny? Yeah, he just didn't play enough, man. For me to be, he played 640 games in 9 years. That's just not a lot of games, man. That's 4 seasons? 4 seasons worth in 9 years.
It's like just about 6. They play 100 something games, and not everybody plays every game.
No, I know. I'm just saying, out of possible. So now we go to Mr. Vincent Jackson, who lifelong was 250 hitter, had 141 home runs, but was another one. He didn't play a lot of games. He only played 690. So let's see what happened when he went. But Bo played more baseball even when he was playing football.
Yes, because that was his better sport.
You think baseball is Bo's better sport?
That's what he said. Now, I can't say I really agree, but
that's not true.
That's what he said.
He needs to watch himself run the freaking ball.
I don't think that's what. Again, I'm not gonna contradict Bo Jackson. You can contradict that man all you want.
I'll contradict him from afar. He ain't gonna come through my screen. I'll say so. 100%. Well, nobody's 100% healthy. 95% healthy. Who goes in the Hall of Fame? Bo Jackson as a running back or Bo Jackson as a baseball player? It's both. Running back.
Both.
I don't know about baseball.
Both.
I don't know about baseball. He had 1 year. He had 2 years where he had over 250. I don't know about baseball. I don't. His power numbers were good, but again, we weren't getting full seasons most of the time.
We weren't getting full seasons, but he was getting better and then he had the hip injury. That's the thing. He was getting better. He was getting better.
Contact wise, he was getting better. Power numbers were never through the roof. But again, not playing. I mean, he played 124 games one year, 135 one year. He played over 100 games, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So, yeah, that's
the thing. He was getting better. He was hitting the bombs. He was getting the ribbies. He had the steals, and then he had the defensive play. He was getting the defensive gems, the web gems. Like, he was on his way to becoming a perennial, all-star, MVP, type level player. And you got to remember, like, during that time, so the injury hurt him obviously so much, but also, like, the strike happening around that time didn't help either. But if he doesn't get hurt, you think about the run that McGuire and Sosa had in the 90s, freaking Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla was a star for a minute. Like, he would have been in that conversation with with Canseco and McGuire, and with power, Frank Thomas with power, Griffey for the center field and the defense. Like, he was being talked about. That I think if he stays healthy, he could have been Hall of Fame in both. I don't think he would have been like first ballot Hall of Fame for baseball, because I think that unless he really cut down on the strikeouts and got a little bit higher of a batting percentage, but McGuire doesn't have the greatest average either, and a lot of these power hitters, Cecil Fielder, and like a lot of these
guys used to put the bat on the ball, man.
Right. So, and Bo was, and his highest was 32, but like he was hitting jacks, he was bombing it. And I think because that, and look, people may not want to admit it, but after the strike, Major League Baseball started feeding batters balls to help increase the excitement of the game and bring.
I thought you were going to say drugs.
No, they may have been doing that too, but they were feeding hitters pitches. Let's be 100% about it. They were feeding pitches. Bo would have been a recipient of some of those pitches being fed, and he'd have cranked a whole lot of bombs. That would have helped him, especially during that. Especially because, and nobody would have questioned Bo being clean either, because he was being tested in both games. No, so like during that steroids era, where you have this guy playing 2 professional sports and he's clean, yeah, he's gonna get a ton of love.
That's fair. I think, like, I'll say this, Bo, like, I can agree that he had a chance to be like a Hall of Fame player, but it, like, from what we saw out of him, like what we were able to see on tape, he had it, where, like, so think about like how a guy like Barry Bonds came in, or how Junior came in. Bo still had like a lot of work to do, but again, it's a hard ass sport.
Such a hard sport.
You're playing it, like part time. Like, the way you train your body to play these sports is different.
Yeah.
Like,
conditioning is different.
Yeah. Both intense, but one way more mentally intense, especially based on the position that you're playing. So, yeah, I think, because I got to protect my guy, man. I just think that, like, Prime, I think he was he's a great athlete. And I think that if he would have just solely focused on baseball, he would have figured it out.
I don't doubt that he could have figured it out. I just think he would have been an average player that he was. I don't think Deion was ever going to ascend to that very good baseball player level. I don't think he was going to. I don't think he was going to.
I listen to some of his stuff, like the guys from the Braves and everything, like how they speak about him. Like, a lot of people say that they think that he could have, if he would have stuck with baseball.
Because it's not like the potential's not. I'm not saying the potential wasn't there. I think Deion's sample size to me, shows that he, for how he approached baseball and the career he had, that he was his average. But when you look at, if you're judging potential, nobody, not even Bo, in my opinion, has the athletic potential that Deion had. Deion's athletic potential was out of this freaking world.
Deion will call you a liar because he says Bo.
I know he says Bo, but here's the thing. Like I think Deion being smaller, and having more vertical leap, I think Deion could have succeeded in basketball where Bo couldn't have.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about. Just athletically,
overall
athletically, Deion's a freak of nature. All right, so
clutch back.
Yeah, and at times a clutch back. All right, I think we did a good job establishing what an average is as a baseline here. Any listeners, we want to know what you think about the baseline we've established for average. And if you don't like it, well, that's too bad, because that's the average baseline we're going to use on this show. So deal with it.
Right.
All right, so we're going to talk about something that's not average, and that is Tom Brady's list. Tom Brady recently gave, now this is not a top 8 quarterback list. This is talking about arm talent. So generally when someone says arm talent, they're talking about not like accuracy, but we're talking about guys who have like rocket launchers for arms. This guy can just chuck the football. You obviously chuck it well with some accuracy, but generally we're talking about arm talent. We're talking power combined with accuracy. So Tom Brady gave a list. It did not include him. And I think anybody would agree with that because Tom's not known to have the most powerful arm. His list of 8 top arm talents comprised are Josh Allen, the only current player on this list. I'm sorry, one of 2 current players on this list. The other current player on this list definitely, in my opinion, deserves to be here. That is Matthew Stafford. We have a name that a lot of people probably don't know, younger fans or casual fans, but I definitely see where Brady's coming from with Jeff George. Now, this guy technically is still active, but in my opinion, he should have been retired years ago, and that is Aaron Rodgers. Then we round out this list with the Mississippi welfare stealer Brett Favre. We have 2 favorites of mine in Randall Cunningham and Michael Vick.
He put Randall on there?
He put Randall on here.
He should have been on there. I was getting ready to get mad. Like I was seeing like, ooh, okay, cool.
Randall Cunningham and Michael Vick.
How many people are left?
1 left.
Dan Marino.
You better believe it.
Not then this list.
Then throw the whole list away. If Dan Marino's not on it, then you throw the whole list away.
That's why I rock with Tom Brady, man. You put Randall. Woo. Okay, let me calm down.
Okay, so
and Michael Vick also.
Yes. Okay, so of this 8, how much in agreements are you with this list?
I'm trying to think if there's somebody. So arm talent, we're just talking about like
mostly power, but also got to be able to obviously get it to the receiver. So, but obviously, generally the focus when they talk about arm talent, it's rocket launcher guys that can chuck it, but chuck it with some accuracy. Because Jamarcus Russell could chuck it, but he couldn't hit nobody.
Right. So I mean, I personally feel like my homeboy needs to be on this list. But I don't know. I'm trying to think who I replace him with. He might not, his arm might not be the strongest, but it's very strong. He's just a guy that puts the ball where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, see, to me, Mahomes is more precision than power.
It's some power to it. Like his
no, I'm not saying there's not.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, every NFL quarterback has an arm.
That's also
you know what I'm saying?
No, that's not true. Peyton Manning.
Well, not anymore, but he had an arm.
He had an okay arm.
Just not that last Denver year. He had no arm.
No, but I'm saying even,
So, but Peyton wasn't known for the arm power. It was about precision.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's, but yeah, I mean, so I'm trying, I probably could think of some guys.
Now, I have one. I have a name that I would add in this list and take off somebody. But okay, well, think about yours. I'm going to tell you the name that I would put in here, and I'll tell you who I would take off.
Okay.
As much as I dislike Rodgers and Favre, I can't take them off because that would just be intellectually and objectively dishonest. They're legendary gunslingers. And even though he's not popular, Jeff George has one of the strongest arms I've ever seen. Anybody that was around the NFL during the time that he was playing would tell you Jeff George had a freaking rocket launcher for an arm.
Real quick. One of my friends played for University of Illinois when Jeff George was there.
Jeff George, okay.
He was a safety. His fingers looked like this.
That they did.
He's like, dude, this man in practice just breaking fingers all the time. Yeah, absolute cannon. He was a ridiculous human, but yes, cannon.
So the person I would take off is Josh Allen, and I would replace Josh Allen with Warren Moon. Moon had a cannon.
Yeah. But he threw such a pretty ball that maybe sometimes it tricked people into thinking it wasn't. But yes, Warren. Oh, I got mine. Since you brought up Warren, I got mine. But yeah,
I no shade to Josh Allen, but Warren Moon was an armed talent.
Yeah. So I could, like you're talking accuracy. You're talking about placing the ball, like being able to lead receivers.
Yeah. And had the power.
Absolute power. So where does John Elway go on this list? Because John Elway was the dude on Tecmo Bowl that you could stand on the 10 and throw the ball to the other 10. You couldn't do that with anybody else.
Seriously. That's a fair question. Yeah, John Elway had a cannon on him.
Like an absolute cannon.
That's fair. I'm kind of surprised that Brady went with 8 instead of 10 because most people just do lists of 5 or 10. But
and we also
if you were doing a list of 10, I definitely think Elway gets on that. It's tough. I haven't watched anything of Elway in a long time. But here's the thing about Elway. You say Elway, but in my estimation, I felt that Boomer had a stronger arm than Elway did. So I don't know if we
need to talk to John Sharp. No, John Elway had a cannon.
I'm not saying he didn't. And again, look. Obviously, my cousin knows better than I do because he caught the ball from the man. I'm just saying, from my very limited viewing, maybe Boomer just looked like he threw stronger. From my view, it looked like Boomer had a stronger arm. I can't say that he didn't.
I think you got tricked by the name Boomer.
No. I saw Boomer chuck some balls downfield. It was like just overthrowing the receiver. It's like, bro, that receiver, you threw that ball 15 yards in front of the receiver. You couldn't even get to it. But it could have been, I get it. That's just my limited estimation. I think to me, Josh Allen's the weakest link on this list. So if anybody's,
I don't know, man. I can tell you somebody else. One of, if not the most disrespected, underappreciated quarterback of all time. Before Marino and Joe Montana and them, everybody was considering him like at least top 2 or 3 ever. And he had an absolute cannon as well, and that's Terry Bradshaw.
Bradshaw is not known for the arm strength.
Yes, he is, dude. No, absolutely.
Dude, I lived in Pittsburgh for years, and that's the one thing Steelers fans say that Terry really couldn't do, that Terry couldn't throw all that great.
No, they talk about accuracy, but as far as arm strength, So this is
Well, I'm too young. I didn't see Terry play, and I only saw clips, and all the highlights of Terry were not him throwing the ball. They weren't him throwing
no,
it,
even all he was doing
and
was
like I mean,
running
oh,
deep.
okay. The one clip of Terry throwing is the freaking insane catch that Lynn Swan had. That was a terrible pass that Lynn Swan
Yeah,
had to make the play of the freaking decade to catch that
yeah.
ball.
He had
Like,
too much. No. Like I'm looking here because I pulled it up because I now I'm also he's from Shreveport, Louisiana,
yes,
and I
I know
lived there
he's a
for a long time.
Louisiana. He's a
Yeah,
Louisiana boy.
but no, they say the strongest arm of the '70s. Just it was some erratic accuracy. So
Some
when you
erratic.
say when you say arm
Okay.
talent, if you're
Okay.
you're throwing accuracy in there, but no, that dude
No,
had
hey,
it in it.
I
Like,
stand corrected because I'm only going off the little I saw, from getting NFL films, and then what Steeler fans have said and complained about.
now I gotta
So
send you some highlights. He might throw the ball 20
well,
yards over somebody's head,
then
but
he ain't got he ain't got that many highlights.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I
Lynn,
mean that was everybody was run the
yeah, I
ball.
mean it was a run. It
He
was a
just
run
had those
era.
two. He just had those two receivers. That still to me my favorite wide receiver tandem of all time, John Stallworth and Lynn Swan.
Oh, yeah, they were fantastic.
They
But
crazy.
Lynn Swanee, yeah, it's what a shout out to Lynn Swan. Lynn Swan's just a cool brother, man. That's just a
Yeah.
cool dude.
It's the first NFL jersey I had. No. I take that back. It was my first favorite. Before that, I got Tony Dorsett, which I wasn't hating on. And then my uncle, who they lived in Minnesota, my uncle was, a celebrity photographer. And he got me and my dad was walking around with Ahmad Rashad jersey. I
Oh
had
man,
no,
them Viking jerseys,
listen, I
Ma
had no
Rashad.
idea who Ahmad Rashad was
Was
at that point because I was like 5. But I wish that I still had that jersey, man.
that would be dope.
Yeah,
Shout out to Ahmad, and except for I don't know how he stumbled Felicia, but that's a whole nother conversation.
you know,
You
I
know,
don't know.
um, I mean, like Brady knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely. Like,
It's hard to argue this list as much as I could replace Josh with Moon, or you make a great point about the arm strength of Bradshaw. That wasn't that wasn't something I was aware of. All I've heard the entire 7 years I lived in Pittsburgh was how terrible of a passer he was. So
well,
um,
but that's
you
what I'm
know
saying. Some of it, like, I don't know what happened because I remember, I'm old enough to remember where people were, he was considered, and maybe it was just because of the 4 Super Bowls, but I do. And, of course, being in Louisiana, like, you get to hear like all the stories. And yeah, he could throw it. You just weren't always sure where it was gonna go.
it's going to go. Yeah, hey, no
That's
one
right.
and no one denies that he's one of the greatest winners in sports. It's just like he wasn't the greatest quarterback.
Yeah.
But hey, but this is about arm talent, and you don't have to be the most accurate for arm talent. Hence, why you got no one nowhere close to the Hall of Famer in here in Jeff George, amongst all these Hall of Fame level quarterbacks here. So, um,
I got another one. I
okay.
got another one. Like, definitely when you talk about arm strength, Lamar Jackson needs to be in that conversation. Accuracy is not as bad as people pretend it is. But I'm talking about now. We're talking about arm talent versus
I don't
strength.
know. I don't know about that
Oh,
one.
man, like,
And I love, I love Lamar, but I don't know about that one now.
dude, that
Is
man,
I don't. Is he?
he's
You
throwing,
think he's in that super upper? You think he's on their level?
dude,
I mean, with
he's
Marino
throwing,
and
Lamar is throwing change ups out there. He doesn't even throw.
no,
He
yeah.
hardly throws his fastball because his
Lo-
fastball is crazy.
Lamar and Pat are throwing very differently than these guys did and are. It's a very different type of ball. I like it. it is very different. Now, Lamar may have it. I've never seen it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it at the combine. You know,
you didn't
there's
see
somebody
it in college. Like
Louisville's offense wasn't doing that like that. They weren't having him chuck
like that.
They weren't having him.
Had 2 Heisman.
They really weren't having him chuck the football downfield like that.
What?
He did a lot of quick routes. He did a lot of running. He wasn't throwing 60-yard bombs that much.
He was throwing everything.
He threw all out around the field, but he really wasn't throwing the deep balls like that much at Louisville. Was he?
He
wasn't.
Lamar got a cannon.
But now, someone who has a cannon, I'm kind of surprised maybe could be mentioned in this list. I don't like the guy. He's a terrible competitor, and I'm glad my Lions didn't draft him. But I can't deny the guy had great arm talent. Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler had a freaking really powerful arm.
He's on the list though, right?
No.
Did he finally put him? Oh,
he's not. Oh. Yeah, see, he's somebody. He's a fringe guy that's like you could put Cutler on that list. I wouldn't.
So you know what? But Jay Cutler and Jeff George are the same person. So I made
yes. But I would take Jeff George over Jay Cutler. But yes, same dude. Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. Yeah, he's another guy. When you talk about just flat out strength, yeah. As far as
and he had the balls to go to that combine and said, I will have a throw off with anybody here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was he had a cannon as well. I'm sure we're leaving somebody out. Dante Culpepper had a strong arm. But
Dante Culpepper had a strong arm. Yeah.
Accuracy wasn't necessarily there. But I'm very glad that Michael Vick and Randall Cunningham. I know, like, stat-wise for a quarterback, Randall Cunningham's numbers, especially in Philly, don't scream Hall of Fame at you. But, like, he was the best player. He was the best offensive player in the league for very many years, playing with me and you as his wide receivers.
Can we go? Well, he did have CC. That 1 year, but the cocaine, cocaine also has CC. Yeah, yeah, triple C. Chris Carter, cocaine, and that cocaina.
Right. So, but he never, I think that was always one of my pet peeves.
Oh, that is one of
is that they weren't giving these guys, just like they didn't really give Steve McNair. They never gave him any receivers.
Yeah.
It's like
he was throwing to a washed up Yancey think pen post the Steelers. Like, come on, man.
Right. Like Derek, he basically made Derek Mason into a wide receiver because
Mason wasn't that good.
But he came into the league. He was like a return guy. Like he wasn't. They wasn't checking for him.
He was serviceable, but like he was putting up big time numbers. He wasn't that caliber of a receiver.
Yeah, Shout out to Steve McNair, fellow HBCU alum. I watched him play the greatest. Is it still? I think it's the greatest football game I've seen. Like football performance I've seen in person. He came to my school. To be fair, I wasn't enrolled yet, but he came to Grambling and he it was something stupid like 400 some yards passing, 200 yards rushing. It was like we was just like, what the hell is this? Why are you here? You need to be at Notre Dame or something.
Right?
Like, why are you doing this to us? What did we? But we actually won the game. I think it was like 63-56 or something. It was crazy. But yeah,
wow. And shout out to Steve McNair, man. This Randall's number. Like, look, I'm a Detroit cat, but I'm the son of a Philly. I'm a son of a Philly girl. My mama's family loves the Eagles. It is one of the big what ifs. If CC wasn't hanging with the other C, you keep him and Randall together on offense. Buddy Ryan coaching that defense with Reggie White destroying offensive lines.
Yeah,
such a big what if.
Yeah, and then you look at what happens now. You're giving him one of the most disgusting tandems in the world, but you see what he did in that short period of time with Minnesota.
And he was
But
older.
yeah, but you saw stuff that made you like literally made me sad that he got wasted in Philly because like I'm watching him throw these he threw a beautiful ball. He threw deep, like just again it like a lot of times it looked effortless. Like it didn't look like he was, like yeah, like crocking back and throwing with everything he had. He just played on some teams. He didn't really get a lot of wide receiver help. Um, but I still think that he's another guy that should be in the Hall of Fame. Not and stats aren't always aren't gonna show,
And yeah,
what he was as a player.
yeah. The problem is, does the NFL have any wizards in it that we could say, well, if this guy's in it, then we could put Randall in.
Oh, I'm sure. Don't you want me to go? We can
No, well, we don't have time for that, man.
not today.
Not today. We don't have time for that because that episode went mad long as we're looking at all these stars, all these players that are below average that we need to put in the Hall of Fame since the Wizards in there. You know.
I'm sure there's some bad quarterbacks in there, man.
All right, we're gonna end the show on the last topic, and it's definitely not least deserving. But this woman deserves the hype that she is not getting. Let's said at the beginning of the episode, she is having one of the best on numerically, stats wise. She's having one of the best rookie seasons in WNBA history. That's the one and only Paige Buckets Futures. So, Paige, the media machine is not giving you the hype you deserve. Here on Fanalysis 101, any Jeek Nation property, we giving you all the flowers, baby girl. Every single one.
Yeah.
Is you are doing that thing and doing it wonderfully, doing it playing defense, doing it not being a turnover machine.
Dude, so the thing, like I feel like I was worried after the knee injury in college. I was worried
Oh,
she's
yes. I
gonna
was
be
too.
able to like retain, like
Return to
she's
form.
gonna have enough quickness and speed to get there. She's not a blazer. She's not a burner.
Oh, never
Ball
was.
handle,
Yeah.
yeah, but ball handling is elite. Last night I was watching, and it was the first time because they were face guarding, they were grabbing, they were holding her. Like, we're not gonna let you get the ball. And I know a lot of, especially young players, they start to go in a shell, situations. I'm not gonna say any names because I don't want the world to go crazy, but they cry and they complain, and just kind of go.
And they tell the ref, I'm going to call the league office
Yeah,
on you.
yeah. So I watched her like because Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall, it was like white on white violence. They was just mobbing her, mugging her, and I watched her like do this switch where she's like automatically coached. Okay, right now this is not where I'm going to be impacting. I'm going to impact over here. Defensive instincts last night, because every time I watch her, I'm looking for these different things so I can say I was right. One of my homeboys, shout out to Jason, he was like, "She ain't gonna be nothing." I was like, I don't know. So I was watching her defensive instincts and watching like she just little things, already understanding where the ball is going, deflections, like picking up the help. You see a lot of rookies just be looking. They're out there in a daze, getting put in a blender, But one thing about her, when she gets lost, she fights like hell to get unlost. You know what I mean? So, like what we were taught, like you're in no man's land. Go, you got to find
You
somebody.
got to find somebody.
You know.
Yep.
So I just watching her. Another thing to me that just makes it to where she's just gonna be elite. Remind you, she still got the child body. Wait till she gets a little bit of strength on her body.
Yeah, she hits 24, 25.
It's curtains. But yeah, man. So watching her off the ball, you know what I'm saying?
So good.
You know how UConn backdoor South Carolina all night long in the championship.
Sure
Paige
did.
is doing that to ladies in the W, like just killing them backdoor. So she does. I got into an argument. Sometimes I argue with people online. This dude was
no.
yeah. I don't know. This dude was trying to say that Paige like dominates the ball, and like I'm like, bro, you're not watching anything.
No,
Because before she struggles to get the ball up, like if she's facing really hard defense, she gives it up. She's backdooring people. She's catching shoot.
She's very efficient. She's 2 or 3 dribbles max. She's not dribbling the air out the ball like some of these other players.
Well, let me tell you, when she starts patting that thing, man, she who was it? I think it was a girl from New York, man. She put her in a blender with the bink, hard jab, like she's going in, step back. Like I call them 5-level scorers. Like, a lot of people go with the term 3-level scorer. But to me, it's 5 because she can catch and shoot. She can shoot off the dribble from anywhere, like inside 25 feet. She great free throws. She can get all the way to the paint. She got the midi pull up. She's just gonna keep working. I was laughing because she's in the same city with Kyrie, and I don't know if he got to her yet. But if she starts working with him, it's curtains for everybody, man. The only thing you can do is try to beat her up. Yeah, but back to Paige, man. Problems and complications for the league.
We're going to cut Moses rambling out in the edit, but we're going to end the show the way it should be. I'm your boy, your host, the one and only Magic. He's Greg Burnham. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Fanalysis 101. We hope this helped establish your baseline for what an average player is. And again, we want to hear what you think of our topics today, what you think of the show. Please rate and review the show on your app of choice. We love ratings, especially when they come with 5 stars. Really helps the show, helps the exposure. Like, share, subscribe to all of our content. You can find Jeek Nation on Apple, YouTube, Spotify. Those are the big ones. And, we love to hear from you. We love to interact with you. MySpace. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, hey, there's Black Planet, everywhere. Hotornot.com. We out here. Until next time, love, peace, practice your jump shot. We out.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.